Hello everybody, Helcrex here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from Inner Sphere, episode 383. Yeah, 383. Alright, today we're going to be talking about the 50-ton Blitzkrieg. It's a 711-0 mech with a big giant gun. And it has a lot of bells and whistles on board. It has Indo-Steel, XL engines, and ferrofibrous armor for a 711. It has 10 double heat sinks on board. And pretty much with lots of heat dissipation left over. All right. It has 6.5 tons of ferrofibrous armor, so roughly the same amount of armor you're going to have on board a 35-ton Wolfhound. So, yeah. Still has a lot of space left on board to throw some armor on, but it doesn't because it's all wrapped up in this big giant massive cannon. It has a Ultra AC-20 with 4 tons of ammo. So basically you got, in the left torso you got an autocannon, and the right torso you got 4 tons of ammo with no case. So the only thing that you see in the right torso is, let's just look at it, XL engines and ammo. So you have, well, seven slots, and four of them is ammo. So you pretty much got better than a 50% chance of blowing this thing sky high on the first crit shot you have on the that torso. So, yep, even though if you had a case on board, the mech would still be dead, but you wouldn't blow it to pieces. Now, as a mech that has an Ultra 20, it's a 711, so it gets around pretty quickly, and it comes in with a 1,273 battle value. So, it's not overly cheap for what you're getting with a mech like this. Yes, you have a fast-moving slug thrower, but you have nothing else to mitigate your movement mods. Now, if you throw in a good pilot on board this thing, you're even ramping up the battle value even more. So, yeah, if you have a 3-4 pilot on board, or even a 2-3 or something of that nature, yeah, it's like cost prohibitive in my book for what you're going to bring to it. So you're going to have a mech running around with a limited amount of ammo, or not ammo, but armor, because you got 13 on the right and left torso, plus you have the 12 internal. So you almost have as much internal space as you have external armor. So, yeah, you can handle a standard Inner Sphere PPC or an AC-10 or a clan large laser, but you get hit with anything else, you're punching a hole right on through with a crit chance. So your odds are being around are getting pretty low. Now, the arms are nothing more than a blade of armor, as I like to say, because there's nothing in them other than soaking up damage. Now, the legs, you're running around with, what, 16 in armor in the legs. So you got more armor in the legs than you have in the rest of the body. So when you think about it, yeah, it's like it's trying to keep the thing on its feet with a little bit more armor there. But, you know, you take a good hit or two, and this thing's going down. So the odds of it getting through all of its ammo, you know, it's got 10 turns of shooting rounds downrange, so it can rip through that. You know, you're going to be firing everything you have every turn, because, you know, you fire double pump in that AC-20, and why not? Because you have 10 double heat sinks, and if you run, you got 18 dissipation, and roughly you're looking at 16. So you get an extra 2 that you can just play around and say, hey, okay, I'll just keep rocking and rolling. So it behooves you to just every turn fire, because that might be the turn you're gone. So you're going to be firing everything you have. And with a speed of a 711, yes, you can get around the flanks pretty quickly. You can get in behind the backfield. This might be an interesting addition to a cavalry / scout lance, where you want something that could hit a light mech. You hit a light mech with an AC-20 round, it's already through. You know, it's like anything that's 20 tons, you're just ripping body parts off of it. I've had where you hit a locust with an AC-20 in the arm, and it's like arm's gone, torso's gone, and then it's right into the center. It's like it just ripped right on through. So that whole body section, it's the same concept of this thing, with the arms being the ablative armor. So you got to keep that thing alive. So speed is your friend. You're always going to be trying to get that 4 mod as much as possible. So yeah, behooves you to go that route. All right. So moving along, how I use this thing, I've seen it before. It's one of those mechs where, yeah, it's like a fast-moving lawn dart. You get in there, unload its poison pills, and then move on to the next target if you're still around. And if you have a heavier assault mech, and you see one of these things coming, pour all the damage into it, and it's probably going to be gone pretty quickly. Especially you have some good gunners on board those things, and pulse lasers or anything of that nature. The clan, that's par for the course. Now, Intersphere, it's a little bit different. You have to throw a little bit more damage down range to mitigate your probably average gunnery that you may have, but something's going to stick eventually. And when you got a range of only 10 on board this thing, there's going to be some turns where it's going to be shot before it even gets near it, or near its target. So, you got that sort of going against it. So, yeah. You basically want to just throw as much stuff at it as possible. Now, if it's running around in a wolf pack, then that's a different story, because in a wolf pack, then you have something to maybe attract attention first, and then you roll this thing up on top of them and then unleash and rip an armor off. And then when you get in close, obviously this is going to be the mech you're going to fire first, because you want the best shot of ripping armor off somebody. So that's the one thing it has going for it. Now there's a second version of this, the 4F, for Foxtrot. Now, this one is different, but has a different way of looking at it. It gets rid of the AC-20 Ultra and replaces it with a heavy PPC. Yes, you heard that right. Heavy PPC. Yeah, the damage is 15, so it's like acting like a clan ERPPC. Goes out to 18, so there's nothing wrong with that. And it takes some of that extra tonnage that you have and throws it into armor. So you have more armor. Instead of, remember, 13, now you got 18. So you have a little bit more to handle everything being thrown its way. Comes with a C3 slave in the head, and then on the right torso you got a targeting computer. Hey, what I was talking about, you need something to mitigate your problem with hinting. Now you got a heavy PPC. Obviously that's going to come with the cost, the penalty of whenever you shoot that thing, you got some minuses to hit, because it's harder to hit with it because it's a heavy weapon. So you throw a targeting computer on board to mitigate that. So you're back to square one when it comes to trying to hit, just with an average pilot. And you're running around with 1,740 battle value. So it's a little more expensive, but a little more armor, and you got some range going on. So this one's a better choice in my book if you're trying to go that route of having a fast-moving lawn dart. And the other wonderful thing that comes with this, it has 7 jump jets, which the other one does not. So you get more mobility. With that mobility, you're able to get over obstacles, get around, and possibly even get behind somebody and then unleash some damage. You hit somebody in the backside with this weapon system, you're punching through back armor with no problem on most mechs. Even assault mechs usually don't have a lot more than 12 on an average, so you're going to be punching a hole through. And if your other lance mates are in the backside with your wolf pack, they're going to be happy with you that you just punched a hole through someplace. So if you hit, that's the question. If you hit. So yeah, that goes. I'd rather use this version. It comes in a little more expensive, but you know, it's par for the course. Now, some of you are maybe screaming, say, "Hey, what about that vehicle that's running around the Saladin? You know, the hovercraft that's 35 tons and it runs around with an auto cannon." Well, yeah. It comes in at about 600 battle value. So you could run 2 of those Saladins or almost 3 Saladins for the other one. And there is a good argument for that, where you could be running around Saladins instead, giving them more targets to shoot at. And then you have something that could be ripping holes into something. And the other thing to be said is you could possibly go with the swap out that autocannon with an ultra autocannon later on, or just a LBX 20, you know, go that route. Yeah, the one problem is that you're looking at ammo. There's 15 ammo on the Saladin, so you do have the capability of throwing a lot of stuff downrange. And if you did flip it out to an LBX 20, you could be running 2 cluster and 1 solid or something of that nature, or vice versa. You know, you go that route. So there is ways of looking at the Saladin and use that as a substitute if you want to go that route. I don't have a problem with that. Hovercraft vehicles sometimes can do the job better, a lot cheaper, and you have a lot more of them on the table to cause more problems for somebody. But I can understand why someone might like the Blitzkrieg, especially the 4F version, which, you know, fits the bill a little bit better. It's more versatile, I think, in some ways, even though a hovercraft can probably get over, especially if you're fighting a battle over water. You know, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. So, but the Blitzkrieg is useful. It will find its use on the table. How often? That's the question. That's what you're willing to gamble with and what you're willing to play with. And I could see maybe instead of a heavy PPC, go with maybe a heavy laser. Go a heavy large laser instead, save a few more tons, and back it up with a couple like medium lasers or something of that nature. So there's a possibility of that, going down that route when it comes to weapon systems. All right, so that's it. That is the Blitzkrieg. I hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Elcorrex out.